end of this video, I'm going to show y'all just how out of control it is. So they got a Church's chicken right there and a Church's chicken up here. Wow, wow, wow. And a Publix back there. They just moving y'all right along into their plan. I wouldn't want to move into a subdivision until I had my own land secured somewhere. But that's what it's moving into. It's so many restaurants. You go up the street, across the road, they're building more restaurants, gas stations, and look like they're trying to put a gas station in every little subdivision as well. So it's really becoming to the point you really don't have to go anywhere. I mean, that's a good thing in some aspects, but it's just not healthy. It's just not going to be a healthy way to go, I don't think. And I'm just getting more and more disgusted by each and every time I see it. They're trying to put a gas station and all in. I like the little like doctor offices and stuff that they move into the neighborhoods, don't get me wrong, but most of those restaurants, I don't want it to be that convenient. Like, I want to feel like I have to get up and get in my car, and if I want it that bad, go out and get it maybe 20 minutes out, because by the time you do all that, you might not want it again. If you saw what I saw, it's getting ridiculous. That's all I can say. It's like every piece of land that these people see, they try to build these subdivisions like everywhere. It's happening everywhere, and it's very disappointing because they're moving all these restaurants, which is very unhealthy. This will not enhance your health, and it just becomes another bill because you get so used to eating out and not cooking at home. I mean, it's so convenient. You can just go right up the street now. You got a Chick-fil-A in your neighborhood. We about to have a Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna show you guys. I remember when we moved here, it was only maybe 1 or 2 restaurants, and I was kind of okay with that because, you know, as a mom, sometimes you get a little busy, and of course, I make that my last resort, though. If I can get in that kitchen still at 6 o'clock and whip up something quick, then I try to avoid restaurants. But, you know, sometimes you get a little busy, and it's very helpful in the same sentence, but it's very unhealthy to be. And I guess it's too, if you look at it from the fact that people are just not food disciplined. I'm very food disciplined, so I'm not worried about myself going to eat out every day or even every week for that matter. Sometimes I eat out once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I like eating my own food, and I know I have told you guys that many of times, but if you have no type of food discipline or just don't care how your food is prepared or how much it costs, because that's another bill in and of itself. I have family members who eat out upwards of twice a day, and I'm just shocked. I'm like, y'all, get in the kitchen and cook. We have all this food in the refrigerator and freezer. They eat out. Oh, and that's another thing, because now you can have something different to eat every single day, and you have options. Rather, you know, if your mother cooked, you probably eat that same dinner at least once or twice a week, that same dinner. And then maybe she'll cook something else. But no, you have options now. So that's another thing. That's why people like to eat out. And that's a good business for these restaurants in these neighborhoods, because people get to have their options now. And when Uber and all these little DoorDash companies made it even easier. And I even took it one step further, because, you know, I would cook and they'll eat it and they like it, but they'll eat it for one day. And then, of course, they want something different, so they'll eat out the next day. It's like people, they don't like leftovers anymore. I don't know what that is. I'm the type of person, I can eat the same thing every day, probably for a good week or so, and I'm good. So, you know, I made it easy. I told them, you know, even if I cook, tell me what y'all like so I can cook it. I have no problem cooking whatever y'all want to eat. I love to cook. Just let me know what you want to eat and I'll cook it. And they still have not let me know. I've been saying this for months and months and months. And guess what? Still the same scenario. So it's scary. It's very scary. My son, he asks for McDonald's almost every day because he knows just how convenient it is, and it's going to be very unhealthy for these kids, because you think they're obese now. You think America's obese now. These kids, once they get to age, they can ride their bicycle right up the street. And got all these fast food restaurants that they can choose from. They get themselves a little bit of money. Guess what they gonna go do? And go hang out with their friends, eat out once and twice a day, and they'll probably think that's normal. And it's almost like you have no control. And I try to let him be a kid, but sometimes, especially McDonald's, I don't too much trust McDonald's. I have to tell him, that's just not healthy. Parents are not cooking anymore. No more home cooked meals because mom's too busy. And that's another thing. A lot of mothers, it's not like back in the day, the moms stay at home and just take care of the kids and cook and take care of the house. Mothers are out working and doing it all, having to come home and cook. They don't feel like it, so I get that. But no more home cooking. And funny story, I remember back in the day, and I remember our seating order at the table was my father at the head, my sister was on the right side of him, and then I was right next to my sister, and then my oldest brother, he was at the other head of the table, and then my brother, who's about the same age as me, he was right in front of me. And let my sister forget to say grace before she ate. Like, we all had to say grace, but because she sat next to him, let her forget. Oh, he used to tear her arm up. It was just not fair. And no one would laugh because, I used to laugh in my head. I was like, that is so unfair. Because she sat right next to him. Like, he couldn't reach us, or he wouldn't have been able to reach us anyway, and he's handicapped. But all he used to say to us, if we forgot to say grace, he used to say, make sure you say your grace. But let my sister forget to say her grace. Oh my goodness, that was too much. So, but that was just a quick story. So, it's going to equal more health problems. You think we got cancer now? Oh, I want to see the statistics of cancer rates before and then now, why they building all these little subdivisions and all these restaurants in these neighborhoods. I would like to see a chart of that. That's going to be interesting. Very interesting. And don't let me get into the PFAs. Oh, PFAS. in your food, not in your food, but your food wrappers. And I didn't even think about it on this note. I was about to do a video almost 2 years ago on this, and they're really talking about it now. They really started talking about it this year. But I was going to do a video 2 years ago, and it was on a whole nother note. I wasn't even thinking on the fact of, fast food wrappers. So that's a whole nother video. And, PFAS, they are forever chemicals, meaning that they do not break down. Yeah, whole nother video. But, it just makes me wonder, does this tie into the elitist plan of, and I spoke about this in one of my other videos that got banned, but I was saying how, you will own nothing and be happy. They want everybody moving into these little tiny cities, is what I like to call them, that just has everything right there. And people not thinking on the fact that you need land, because now look what happened to pandemic. What you gonna do in the future? We have more pandemics and you can't grow your own food. Hint, hint. Own the food, own the people. Can't grow your own food. How you gonna feed your family? How you gonna feed yourself? People are just getting out of the old-fashioned way of doing things and having land to grow their own food. And this situation right here with this pandemic should have taught a lot of people a big lesson. I can still see why people would want to move into subdivisions and don't own some type of piece of land somewhere. That's ridiculous. I would not want to move into a subdivision if I didn't have any land. My first option would be, okay, well, let me just get me a land and a house first. Younger generation, they don't care about owning land. They love moving into these little tiny places. They don't care about land like how forefathers thought of land. Land was gold. So you just think about how much land is going to be discarded or not used, or people just don't care about, and willing to sell it to just anybody for a buck. And those people are going to be the elitists who are going to come in and swipe it all up and away and do whatever they want with it, use it for their own purpose, farming, growing your food so that they can have control over that. Y'all must be didn't see what happened in China when they had them locked down, a couple times actually throughout the pandemic, and not too long ago, and the people were crying out in their apartments. You could hear them crying out into the streets. Had them on lockdown, board up the doors. You better not come out. These people, you don't have land, they'll be able to control your food. Not only control your food, what type of food that you're going to eat as well, because if you believe in any of the conspiracy theories that's going around, they want us eating bugs and they want us eating all these fake mock meats. So it's just something to think about. I know it's just making me very disgusted, because every time I turn around, they're tilling up the earth to build something. Especially around me, it's ridiculous the way they just popping up these housings and little apartments and condos. And I know a lot of people, you've seen it everywhere. So, but I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. This is not going to enhance our health at all, not our kids' health. If anything, it's just going to cause more health problems, and it's going to be another bill, so it's going to be a financial strain as well. Well, you just got to be a little disciplined. I won't say it will cause a financial strain, but you just got to be a little bit more food discipline. And I like the fact that they moved the doctor's offices. Like, that's a plus. And these other little different stores that we may need, like essential like stores like that, but it's very convenient to know that if you have a doctor's appointment, you just go up the street. But these restaurants, no stores in the neighborhoods. Like, give me a Walmart Express or something like that. I don't want Publix, because I know where we live at, they are very high priced. So yeah, every little subdivision getting it. Oh, and also they're doing, and I love the fact that they're doing the schools. Like, I love that part about it. Schools are in this neighborhood, so if you got to go run and pick your child up from school, at least that's very convenient. And it just creates a sense of community like we used to have back when we were kids, and all of your aunts and uncles lived around you and family members. It takes a village to raise a child. So I like that part of it, and having the subdivisions, that it builds a real strong community. Everybody know each other. Just get rid of the restaurants, that's all I'm saying. Or at least put some healthy restaurants around. I don't see any healthy restaurants. Everything is just greasy fast food. Give me a vegan restaurant, or some place that knows how to fix good, healthy meals with healthy ingredients. There's the McDonald's, so they just popped that up not too long ago. So just something for you guys to think about. Make sure you have your own land. This should be a good wake-up call of what's going on in this world right now, why you should have your own land. I'm about to show you guys just how ridiculous it is. So I live in point A. So us and B, we're connected. So A and B are connected. And I like to say there's 3 ways to get from A and B. You have the back way, the middle way, and you have the front way, which is the main highway, which is going towards C. So, we had, when I moved here, maybe 2, 3 restaurants, and it's lately been coming a push for them to build as many restaurants, grocery stores as they can. B started building more stores in front of us, so their little front part in front of us, they have gas stations, restaurants, Dunkin' Donuts, and they also have another big, if you go out on C and go further down, the other part of B, they have this big old shopping complex with restaurants and other stores. And we're getting a Chick-fil-A, we have a Starbucks, we have just about everything, a car fixing place like a Firestone. But it's not even a brand name of companies that's moving into these neighborhoods. It's the repetition also, because okay, we have a Starbucks. B in front of us, they open up a Dunkin' Donuts. Then if you go and travel out to C, which is 6 to 8 minutes, They also have a Dunkin' Donuts, and they have office buildings behind that Dunkin' Donuts, and they also have office buildings into their little part where their neighborhood is supposed to be. So that's their little complex. They have stores and restaurants, mostly restaurants. And then, so, we have our schools, B has their schools. If you go the opposite way, and like you're going out towards C, but you turn and go all the way left, going down D, and you come upon, if you turn off on that road, but you come upon another big shopping center they're building with a grocery store and other stores. And then you go further down D, you have almost maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you have another place with gas stations and stores, and that's where the houses are. So it is becoming crazy the way they're trying to pop up every little grocery store, gas station, anything they can, seem like, in these little shopping areas. And the thing is, they're not that far apart. But I just want to leave you guys with that. And, keep enhancing. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. This is going to be good for kids once they get older and they need a summer job. Don't get me wrong, because all they would need is a bicycle to get around. So that's a plus. I guess I'm just the type of person, I don't like the fun in my backyard. I'm the type of person, I like to go to the fun and then go back home to my peaceful house. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't like to party at my house. I like to go to the fun and leave the fun and go back to peacefulness. That might be part of it too.